Hello, men. Justin with Just in Time here. Today, what we are going to be talking about are books. And these 3 books right here have been an essential part in my weight release journey from 278 down to 180 pounds. Today, 238.2. If you check the other videos, we were in the 240s last week and about the week before. So we are on course for 180. These 3 books right here, I will go in and out of them, read maybe a few pages, maybe a chapter or 2, depending on the book, depending on the time. And these books have really helped create pathways, if you want to say it that way, in my mind, neural pathways. It changes how I process information. And so today I'm going to give you some quotes from these books that I find beneficial and can relate to weight release and life in general. So first, we'll start with The Magic of Believing, Claude Bristol. This is one of the books that I got recently, a couple months ago, within a couple months, and I've gone through it. Amazing stuff in there. This is essentially talking about, well, what it says, the magic of believing. I believe there's a quote from Henry Ford. It's essentially, if you think you can or you can't, you're right. That's essentially what it's saying. So what we have in our mind as far as what we can actually believe that we can accomplish, like 180 pounds, I believe I can accomplish that. I know I can. And one of the reasons is I can see myself at that weight, what I would look like at that weight. And one of the things I've done as far as finding out what my body would look like in that instance, I went online, checked out a whole bunch of different pictures of different heights and different weights of guys that have gone through a journey like that, or guys that are just at that specific weight and want to bulk up. So maybe they're at 100, they were at 160 pounds and they're having the opposite challenge or the opposite goal that I have. Instead of getting down to 180, they're at 160 and wanting to bulk up. So they're going up to 180. And then look at the guys that look at or see what they look like at about that weight. So it seemed as though when I was doing this, 180 is about the proper weight with muscles for my height and my structure. So, and this can be reevaluated when I get to this point or around this point. If I'm seeing, actually from my understanding from going here to here, 40 pounds, I know what 20 pounds looks like. Maybe I want to do 170, maybe 160, somewhere like that. So the magic of believing, a quote from that. However, I would like to point out that hard work alone will not bring success. The world is filled with people who have worked hard, but have little to show for it. Something more than hard work is necessary. It is creative thinking and firm belief in your ability to execute your ideas. The successful people in history have succeeded through their thinking. Their minds were merely helpers to their brains. So what is this bringing about? What for you, what comes to mind? For me, what comes to mind here is that it starts with, in one essence, it starts with the mind. What do we have that is constantly coming in and out? Are there traumas that have happened from before that are stopping us to accomplish our goal? And I can speak of the weight goal here, and I think this can be applied to other instances in life, financial and those type of things. But what I'm showing here is what is actually working. And so this started with, what did I want to accomplish? 180. That's where it started. I found out what I wanted. And through finding out what I wanted, I was looking up, I was creating different neural pathways of, this could be fun, this could be cool. What if I, looking like this, how would I feel? And then becoming that. And that is leading me towards the 180. So it really does start with the mind. What are we putting in? And in other videos, I mentioned GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. What are we putting in our mind? There's another quote we'll talk about here in a minute that I think it's in the Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Science that is fascinating. We can go to that right now, actually, because I think this relates to it and what I want to talk about. So a quote from the Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Science, Thomas Troward. Here's a quote from that. Our more immediately personal recognition of the all-originating love and beauty will thus flow out as peace of mind, health of body, discretion in the management of our affairs, and power in the carrying out of our undertakings. And as we advance to a wider conception of the working of the spirit of love and beauty and its infinite possibilities, so our intuition will find a wider scope and our field of activity will expand along with it. In a word, we shall discover that our individuality is growing and that we are becoming more truly ourselves than we ever were before. Now, this is a very powerful quote because it's talking about, or what I perceive it's talking about, or what comes to mind, is that we are discovering ourselves, our true selves. It's to feel good in our skin. And I think that's something that I was feeling back at 278. I was feeling bloated. I was feeling just like I wasn't able to maneuver as well as I am now. And I know that I am at 180 and beyond in health and fitness. So discovering who we actually are, and not all these programs and things that we think we are, like, oh, I think I want to do. Are we actually going down the path of who we actually are? I think that's super important to question and find out so we can make these goals, these objectives in between to accomplish our goals and our desires. Here's another quote from the Edinburgh Lectures on Mental Science. No one else can grow for us. We must each grow for ourselves. And this intelligent growth consists in our increasing recognition of the universal law, which has brought us far as we have got yet, and of our own individual relation to that law, based upon the fact that we ourselves are the most advanced product of it. It is a great maxim that nature obeys us precisely in proportion as we first obey nature. Let the electrician try to go counter to the principle that electricity must always pass from a higher to a lower potential, and he will affect nothing. So powerful. The electricity coming from a higher potential to a lower potential. The image in my mind when reading this, when I have this image of this book, and especially when I read it, is coming from the outside of a house. Imagine a house. Imagine there's a big transformer in like a box if it's underground wiring. Or think of a pole. Think of a pole in the backyard and there's a big transformer hanging on it. The electricity is coming from that into the house. That's a higher potential. You know, however many volts, it's like 10,000, 12,000, 13,000 volts, somewhere around there. That electricity is flowing into the house to a lower potential, 120 volt, 240, depending on where you are. And so if we think about that transformer, the energy that's coming from there as our mind, of what we have in our mind, not necessarily the brain, the mind, what thoughts are going around there? What ideas? What do we have trapped in there? What emotions do we have trapped? What traumas do we have trapped? They may not be coming up at that moment, but when they get triggered or pop up, that's a higher potential, and those are affecting us. They may not be in our conscious at that moment, but they can affect the decisions. Well, they do affect decisions that we're making throughout the day. So for example, as you know, the things we're eating, if there's some trauma from childhood, as far as, you know, like Lay's potato chips, that was one of mine. I remember eating like a whole bag of them. I would just eat a whole bag and dip them in ketchup and all this type of stuff. I mean, I'm thankful for that experience because I can recall it now and use that to show what I prefer. And so I can take that and I can use it to go to the 180 because I had that experience. I know that's not what I prefer. So I'm thankful for that situation. So when we hold an image in our mind of our desired reality, of the weight we want to be, then that is going to come about in this physical. That's how it's working. This is what I'm seeing. This is what I did. This isn't just guessing and saying, I think if you do this, then that might work maybe. It's what I'm doing. It's what I decided to do. And these are the results from it. So you can see if you're in some similar spot as I am, 278, or that's where you were, 278 or 300 or 250, and you want to go to 150 or wherever it is, you can look at me and take ideas from me and use that for your journey. If anything is popping off right now, if anything's coming to mind, oh, I can do that now. Brian Tracy said something that was super important and impactful to me. Do it now. So if anything comes to mind right now, anything, you're like, yeah, man, I do want to get down to like this weight. I want to be here. I can see myself as that. I desire to be that. I am that. I am 180 pounds. I am 180 pounds. Yes. Thank you. Gratitude. Giving that out. And something comes to mind. I'm going to write it down. Like that comes to mind. You get that image. Write it down. Do it now. Get a white piece of paper, blue ink, write it down. I am so happy and great. Here's an example. You can make it however you want. I am so happy and grateful now that I am 180 pounds. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative. And just keep writing it. Just keep writing it and 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 writing it. Kevin Trudeau on one of his videos talks about doing this 77 times a day for 7 days. And I found that very beneficial. I've done 77 times in one day. And then the next day I'll wake up. I did it more than 77 times, do that again. And the importance of this is what he talks about is that it gets your brain into a different state. It's almost like you're getting in the zone, like soccer players, football players, they'll talk about getting in the zone. Baseball players, they're getting in the zone. They know how that ball is coming towards them. They know what to do. They know the next move to make. They're in that brain wave frequency pattern of knowing what to do. And that's ingraining that can pull up, or not pull up, but when they're in that mode, it's just everything flows seamlessly. It's just they're not thinking. They're doing. And so by writing these different I am statements down, I am 180 pounds, and being thankful and have gratitude for it, what we're doing with that is, from my understanding and what I've experienced, or what I think is, or what I believe is happening, neural pathways are getting created. All these little neural pathways are coming out and being created that are branching off into new pathways that can be created. So when we're getting these ideas to, if you have one to, write down your goal. Oh, I want this so much. I want this. Okay. I am this. I am this. I am willing this. I will be 180 pounds. And the other thing too, I didn't put like a deadline on this, because I found putting a deadline on anything as far as like a goal or objective really is, it can induce some type of lack. Like, I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. Okay. Well, you can't, it's just not resonating right. So I don't put a time limit on this, and the proper actions just come about. So I would say it's not necessary to do a specific date. That's not what I did. You can try it, but that's not what I found to be working. So I wanted to throw that out there, because I've heard, and I've tried this before, and I've heard from people that they're trying to do that, or people have suggested doing that, but I don't know about results on that specific thing as far as putting a date. So yeah. But yeah, if you get something that comes to mind as far as anything that I'm talking about here, like I said, Brian Tracy, do it now. I found that to be the most impactful, and it creates those pathways. It creates however it works in the universe. If you look out to the stars, if you look out to the systems, some people say that is a representation or a mimicking of our neural pathways, or vice versa, or both. You can also say tree of life, that looks like inside our brain, or the different, I'm sure you've seen like where it has like the head or the nervous system all throughout the body, and how that looks like the tree of life as well. So there's a lot of things that relate to reading books, creating neural pathways, and just progressing growth. That's the thing. As human beings, there was something I read where it may be in one of the quotes here that I put on here. It's coming from the mind, but essentially I think it's from, and we'll talk about this in another video, psychocybernetics. It talks about, essentially, I'm paraphrasing, man is like designed to accomplish goals. So if we're setting goals, we enjoy that. And when we have nothing, we're just kind of floating around, and it's like, I don't know what, I'm just here, but there's nothing really being done. Then that can just lead into some loop of, despair or something. So if we have some goal set, we can strive for it, and it's like innate in us that we want to accomplish. So I'm seeing it happen right now in this area of my life, and I know it to be true. So that's what I'm saying as far as this, and I'm hoping you're getting some benefit. So I'll move on to the last book here. Magic of Thinking Big. David Schwartz. We'll do a quote from that. Believe it can be done. When you believe something can be done, really believe, your mind will find the ways to do it. Believing a solution paves the way to solution. And this goes back to what we were talking about as like the neural pathways, and to branch off, which is kind of a funny term there, branch off, tree of life. On this, when we set a destination, when we set a goal, how I see it is this new drop of information, like the imagination function, like in our mind is going, like say it's in our brain, creating a new neural pathway. And then we're creating all these little avenues, all these little pathways, these things we're digging into our brain, little crevices to go to that point, and we're linking it from wherever we can. Did we go into, if it's I'll speak for this because I know for food, for the weight release. Okay, I'm setting 180. Okay, cool. Brain, what is it doing? Okay, well, 180. Let's look at pictures of people that are at that 180 range. What do they look like? Oh, okay, got another mental image. Okay, it was a Google search or whatever it was. Okay, creating another little pathway inside. Okay, what else will we do? Clean water. If you check out the other videos, clean water, organic food. We'll talk about some supplements and things like that, and some cleanses in another video. But those type of things, they come out. All these pathways are getting created. This is how I see it, to go to our goal. And if we stick with that persistence, consistency, and believing we can do it, feeling that we can do it, and we're not lying to ourselves, like you can actually imagine that. Now with that, all these pathways are getting created. Now it's just becoming, it's having more mass. It's creating this infrastructure to get to your desired goal. And what's cool about that is all those different pathways that are getting created are cross-connecting to different areas, different people. Will you ever get the notion to like text somebody? Like it's like, hey, text this person for some reason. I did this the other day, and I just texted. I said, hey, I was thinking about you, man. Like, you came to mind. You kept coming to mind today. There's something there with the journey that I'm on, that there's a connection. And what I found out there was he's on a weight release journey as well, and he's doing fantastic. So there's connection points. One of the best things I think we can do as far as progressing in life is connecting with people. And there was a time where I seemed as though I thought like being a little bit of a loner was okay. And it may be, I think for sometimes it can be. I mean, look at Jesus. He went off for 40 days. So there are times when that can be necessary, but I think overall, or I believe overall, that is proper to be connected with people and have relationships, and we can see things in them that we can see in ourselves that we can change and make better, and vice versa. So super important there, from my perspective, to connect with people. So accountability, I think that's important. Me doing these videos is accountability to you guys, 100%. When I'm out there eating and making food and going to the grocery store and thinking, oh, I could buy like 8 chocolate bars, or I could buy, let me do like 4 chocolate milks like I did one time. And then I think, well, how's that going to line up when I get on the scale over there and then have to write down my weight for the next day? And I go, yeah, it's probably going to be, it could be up, a pound or 2. And I'll post some videos or the pictures. Heck, I'll put them up right now. I'll take shots after this video and then show you guys. They'll pop up here of last month and this month, December and January so far. And you can see the progress that has happened. If you guys would like to be on a weight release journey, or you are right now, if you have a scale, that's what I do. I step on it every morning and I keep a tally of it, keep the score. I have the paper right above it and write down exactly what I'm doing, exactly the weight. I mean, with a decimal point, what it says on the scale. So point something. And that progress there is creating, like we're talking about, these neural pathways. It's saying, oh yeah, that pops up when I'm at the store, and it's like, oh, you could buy all these other things. It's like, no, I already have a list. This is what I'm sticking to. I might get like one kombucha extra or something, but that's on the list of things that I enjoy. So keeping the score, super important. So if anything, just you could weigh yourself daily. That's what I do to start. Just weigh yourself and keep score. So another quote: the mind is what the mind is fed. I think that relates to everything we're talking about right now. So by you watching this video and seeing somebody that is doing what you would like to do, if that is your goal, and I'm assuming since the video popped up, this is probably, coming down your alley. This is what you're wanting to accomplish. But the mind, what we're putting in the mind, massive, guys. I'll give you something that I've started doing. I started limiting social media as far as the scrolling, where it's just scrolling like, some people call it doom scrolling, keeping that to a minimum, essentially eliminating it. I'll check on my Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and those things. I'll check on all the social medias, and I pretty much have it set to where it goes just to my page. I have a tab in Google Chrome in Google Chrome where it's like bookmarks, and I'll click it and it'll pull up every page to my profile page just to check and see if there are any messages or anything like that, or anything I need to tend to. But other than that, scrolling, I don't know. I mean, if you want to make some time, I've heard people make time maybe on the weekends to check it, but the people that I've heard, like, who was it? It was, I remember this, Dan Pena. If you look him up, Dan Pena, man, there was a seminar he was giving, and he was talking about something about the people that he knew didn't even check social media except to post, like during the week. And on the weekends, I don't even know if they checked it. They might have checked their phone, but when they had financial goals. These dudes were like selling companies for like 30 million over 2 or 3 years. They buy companies, sell them, go through and kind of root it out and then figure out what was going wrong and then boost it up a little bit and transfer and sell it to somebody else. And he was saying, when someone's on a mission like that, like these dudes in their 20s, these dudes in their 30s, and they're on a mission to make this money to change their life, they're not sitting there scrolling on Instagram and just like checking crap all day and seeing what's going on in other countries and like, things happening that we perceive as negative, death and destruction, all that. They're not checking those things out. They're sticking to their goal. They're reading books. Well, I don't know if they're reading books. I'm reading books. But they're sticking to their goal, and then they have these success stories. So that's one way to do it. We'll give a couple more quotes from this book here. Here we go. Look at things not as they are, but as they can be. Visualization adds value to everything. A big thinker always visualizes what can be done in the future. He isn't stuck with the present. Massive quote, massive quote. We can recognize what's going on around us in this moment. So look at your situation. Something that came to mind right now was Jordan Peterson. The one thing I remember seeing from the book, it's like, and from online, clean your room. Clean your room. Start doing it. Start being organized. That's what he's talking about. The external is a reflection of the internal. But yeah, looking inside, changing that, making the external a representation of inside, not seeing things how they are, but how you would like them to be. We can recognize where we are. There can be a time for that. I recognize, I'm at this specific weight. Gotcha. And my goal is here. And that's what I'm putting my attention on. And I'm sure you guys have heard this. Kevin Trudeau has talked about this essentially, and other people. I think I saw it on, it was just different podcasts and things like that. But what we focus on, the universe, God, what the blessings God's giving to us. He's given us this imagination function and attention. It's our biggest currency. When we focus on things that we want, we get those. We can hold those in our mind. The paths and the actions and the people and the events and all that come to us to follow that, to do that. Like on this, the reverse osmosis water, the proper eating, the organic, the push-ups, all this, it leads to the goal. But also, when we say we don't want something or we put our attention on things that we do not prefer, we get those as well. And I know this from direct experience. Focusing on the things, not just checking in, being like, oh, I see that, and yeah, I prefer this thing. I'm going to go over here. Not that. When we see something and we're focusing on it and just ruminating and going and going and going and going, essentially what's happening is all those photons that we're beaming out are coming into form. It's starting to create that. And it's likewise in the other direction. So whether we say we want something or we don't, how it's being responded to is yes. So I say I am 180 pounds. That's what I say. There we go. And you can do the same as well. And that's what I do. I write that down. I am so happy and grateful now that I am 180 pounds. Thank you so much. I'm appreciative. Something to that extent, ending with gratitude, starting with gratitude. So we'll do one more quote, maybe two. We'll do two. Action cures fear. And the next one. Build castles, don't dig graves. Action cures fear. Yes. When we start getting these loops of I can't do, or this is, I think about something from childhood and this pops up and I can't do it because of what someone will think. If we know that's the right action to take, if we just get up and go do it, that pushes through. Now, the whole fear thing, there's some components to it. There can be thoughts that are being pushed in, and there's a big talk about where they're coming from, if we did it ourselves, all that. But the whole idea is if ideas are coming in or thoughts that aren't conducive to where we're going, we can discern those. We can look at it and go, is that for my best interest in those around me? You go, oh, that's not the right thing. And if it's not a traumatic experience, we can just kind of brush it off. You can recognize it and say, what I do, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And now I know what I prefer. Okay. It kind of just disarms it, completely disperses it. I think of these thoughts as little, people, little entities coming in, and it's like, hey, like talking to you, and you go, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that, because now you're leading me in the correct direction. Thank you. I'm going to go this way. That's how I deal with fear. And sometimes it can try to ruminate, and it's just that same process, thankfulness and gratitude, thankfulness and gratitude. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it's like it just disarms it. It can't do anything. It's like, okay, well, because I made a decision. I chose. So, and then the second one, it was talking about build castles, don't dig graves. Along the same lines, let's go towards what we want and build and create, and not go to involution as far as our consciousness. Let's not go this way and dig a grave. Let's not go backwards. Let's go forwards in our perspective. And so I think these quotes here, they really pertain to life in general, but I like to stick with what I've done personally so I can share that. So it's not just fluff. It's not like, oh, I think this and this might work. No. These things I'm talking about, what I've gotten from these, I've actually applied. That's a big thing too. The knowledge that we're getting, if that resonates with you, if that hits and you go, hey, that does, and that's clicking with different situations in my life. Okay. Oh, if he did that and that's working, let me apply that, because I'm speaking from what I've done on here, what I've gotten from here, and applied knowledge. We can sit around all day and just have a whole bunch of knowledge, a storehouse of information, which essentially the internet is that. It's all there at our fingertips, like digitally, if you want to type it in and get that. It's all there, but when we actually apply the things from the people that have done the things that have worked, and then you can kind of make it your own if it's specific foods and things like that, but sticking to the generalities that are known to work, then that's applied. Then you know it, like you actually know it. So yeah, I hope these books, or the talking about these and the quotes from these books, have really helped bring something to mind, or at least get something started as far as creativity of what your desired reality would like to be, whether it's weight or whatever it is. I can speak for the weight. And so if you'd like to check out what I do, consider subscribing, consider liking, and send me a message if you want. I do work with men to show them exactly what I do to release weight and feel great, and to regain control of their mind and body so they can live the life they want. So if you'd like, you can click the work with me button below. It'll take you, it's a link. It'll take you to where we can chat one-on-one and see how we can work together. So I know that you guys can do this. If you're in a similar spot, I've been doing this and I know what works. So if you guys are serious about releasing weight and living a better life, consider subscribing and checking out that link below. And I do have a link on there where you can download a daily activity list of what I do, like what I eat. And it's kind of a 1 day walkthrough of what I do, and gives you an idea of the mindset of the things I eat, the times and stuff like that. So you can sign up and check that out. And if it's of benefit, let me know. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching today. All these books will be available in the link below. There'll be like an Amazon link. You can check all these out. However you can get your hands on them, read them online, whatever's best. I recommend the physical books because we're not staring at a screen. That's a whole nother topic. If you can actually physically feel the book and look at it, Amazon, hardcover, paperback, whatever is your liking. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching today, and leave you with that I love you, and that I know you can accomplish whatever you desire in life. And I appreciate you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take it easy. Bye.